Day 3 in building 100 startups in the next 100 days. The problem I solved today is generating names for my startup ideas. I need to create 97 more startups, and each time I struggle with chatting with GPT or Quote with figuring what is the right domain name, checking GoDaddy or Namecheap to see are they available at all. So I figured that would be a really nice problem to be solved, and because of that I created Namerfall. Namerfall helps you to find a name for your brand, and it will give you a feedback if .com domain name is available. We can also rate and bookmark some of the suggestions in order to make sure we have suggestions that actually make sense for us. To get started, we need to describe our idea and select some of the preferences in order to get the best match in our case. So I'm simply building a product that can help me for the user interviews to ask the right questions and to make sure that as I run the user interviews and I see how the users interact with the platform, I get the information I actually need and don't waste any time. Okay, I need probably short and medium. I find useful here. Creative I've invented, real and descriptive. Let's make it real and descriptive, so as we read the name we know what the product is actually doing. Technical, playful, friendly, minimal and trustworthy, bold and energetic. Probably bold and energetic will fit to the vibe of the idea. And let's generate some names. We have our first list of suggestions. Every time we ask for suggestion, we'll get 10 names in return, and we can jump to next rounds as much as we want. So from here we see only 2.com available domains. Feedback fault. That actually doesn't sound so bad. Inquiry hub. Okay, I'm not sure I like any of this, so I'll just continue with the rounds. But before that, it's really important to use the product in the correct way. Every time we get a suggestion, we need to read through the names. If something catches our eyes, we can bookmark it and rate it from 1 to 10. This rate will help the next round to give us more accurate suggestions. User echo, quest link, interview, insightful. Okay, that's alright. I will give this a 9. Interview Pro, voice map, QStat. Nah, I don't think I like any of these, so I will simply go with a next round. Here we see 2 more available .com domains. I'm checking them first if I find a match. Nope, none of this helps me. Query Scout, Query Insight Call, User Query. Okay, that seems cool. Query Forge, User Lens. Wow, that would be really cool if it's available. Okay, it took me a bit longer than expected, but I think I finally found it. Userdraft.com seems relatively straightforward and connects to what I'm doing over here. So as I go to Namecheap and I check for availability, it's only $10. So I'll be adding this to the bucket list for day 4. And yeah, this is how we can use Namerfall to find a name with .com relevant domain. I used the same process as before to build this up with some slight changes on how I used Figma. I found that it's much more productive to start with wireframes just to sketch the idea in order to get what you have in your head and make sure that Quote understands it correctly before you proceed to development or even to final designs. And with those wireframes I can see the features and I can agree that that's something I want to build, and that's something I find as correct solution to my problem. I played a bit with styles. I asked to generate different style guides for the landing page until I find the one I wanted to proceed with. And after that, I went with applying those styles in different variants. For documentation, I tried to keep it as simple as possible. Previously I had all these pages and it was a bit confusing. All I care about is having a few lines for the description, what the product actually is. The Q&A session, which I had with clarifyidea.com, having that base understanding why I started the project, what is the vision, in order not to lose track of it. And of course the user interviews. I didn't do any boilerplates, I just did one pager of the stack and technologies I've been using, which I'm passing to Quote. Probably I need to create a CLI command setting this up, since it's still taking way too much tokens to generate the application with Quote. And for the user interviews, I only had one interview. The user has an application which is called Gymwork. Unfortunately, this name is taken from everywhere. He tried everything to find a new name. And he has the exact same process as me, simply asking GPG generate 10 more, going to that loop, and still nothing relevant found. I tried to ask for a payment here if we find a proper name, which solves the problem with the sacrifice. In the bullet points I wrote, I still see bunch of small issues, suggestions, something I don't really like to see as learnings in user interview. Yes, again, the bug fixes and those suggestions are important, but really understanding what the user needs, what problem we're solving, those topics are the real goal of those interviews. And that's the reason of the startup for day number 4, which is the name we just found, user draft, is to help us just to get those goodies. From the interview, variable reward, something I found. It's kind of exciting to get to a new round with that variable reward. You don't know what domain name will come, a suggestion makes it enjoyable to work with. So that's something totally I found as learning, and I can use as part of the knowledge base as I proceed with the product. And yeah, I think it was pretty cool that we finally managed to solve the problem. It was exciting, so we could see how the product can give value to someone else, which was pretty nice. As learning, I can probably add only one thing, which is try to simplify as much as possible. At the start, I tried it at least with the documentation to make it fancy, to look professional, to have all these pages. But in the end, all we needed, it's a couple of lines for the descriptions and a couple of bullet points to guide us through. The more we add is just a fluff. We just want to highlight the most important pieces and to add this in. So for future projects, I will try to keep the documentation as plain as possible, as raw as possible, rather than trying to expand. And that's all for day number 3, 97 more to go.